Hey, how's everybody doing today? It is time for my next vlog, and I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a recap on last week. Last week I talked about my dad passing away. I just actually got back from his funeral, and his funeral was on Monday. And so I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, to those of you who came out. It was great having you there. A lot of people that have been dear to me over the years showed up, and so I appreciate you guys being there. I did a tribute last week in my vlog. It was to my dad. It was called Bad Threads Living, and it was based off of a coat that he wore, which was actually at the funeral. And the coat to me symbolized the way that my dad lived his life. The coat itself wasn't anything special, but my dad wore it as if it was. He did this also with a car that he had, a Chrysler LeBaron. It was like a 90s red convertible that it was okay, but it wasn't like the greatest vehicle on the planet. Yet my dad treated it as if it was. He would wash it, shine it, take us kids for rides in it, and the top down. He was just that was how dad was. He didn't care if he had the most expensive, greatest, nicest things. He didn't care if he had all of the acclaim from people in the world. But he was very aware of what his life possessed. And he took the things that his life possessed and he lived it out in celebration and acceptance in a way of paying honor to it. One of the quotes from I did a write up on Bad Threads Living, which I will post along with this vlog. Um, and one of the quotes from that said, he saw the things in his life as gifts and blessings, and he bestowed honor on them by accepting them fully as his own. And I also put on here one of the things that kind of the way that I sum up Bad Threads Living. Bad Threads Living is owning what you have, cleaning it up, shining it off, and moving forward with pride and joy in an act of acceptance of life as it really is. So the reason I say what it really is because we have one life. It's the life that you each individually possess. Nobody else has that life but you. And therefore, the only life that you're ever going to have is your own. You're not going to have anybody else's life. The one that you've got right now is it. And so the first thing, get your eyes off of other people. Put them onto your own. Put them onto your own life. And then once you're there, you have to accept it because it's not changing. It's not changing unless you change it. So the areas of your life that are your own, I came up with 4 areas that are your own, that nobody else can change, nobody else has control over other than you, as far as making them, showing them the proper acceptance for what they are. Um, there's first of all a quote by Epictetus. He was a Roman philosopher, born as a slave in Turkey, and then he got exiled somewhere at the end of his life. But in the majority of his life, his heyday, people were coming after him. They wanted to know what he had to say about things. His quote was, "No man is free who is not master of himself." So there are 4 areas that I want to present that are very much your own, and only you have control over them. And since they are your own, it's time to start looking at them. It's time to start accepting them and embracing them. And not looking at other people, but looking at your own self and saying, this is what I've got, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to shine it off, and I'm going to rock it. I'm going to rock it as if it's my bad threads. That's what it's all about. The first area is your mind. So nobody else has power over your mind other than yourself. And also, your mind is the only one you're ever going to have. So there's no point in looking at somebody else and saying how brilliant they are, or saying how awful they are, or how nice they are. If you're doing so in a way in which you think that that's going to make your own existence better, because it's not. The only one that you have control over is your own mind. So feed it with things that are going to be healthy for it. We often live our lives on autopilot the opposite direction, in one of negativity. It's time to remove that negative junk, the stuff that you tell yourself maybe without even knowing it. It's time to remove that and place it with positive things. The things that matter, the things that you can take, that you can look at with pride. Believe these things. Believe that you are significant. Believe that you have value. Believe that you have worth and you have a purpose. Even if you don't know what it is yet, you've got one. You exist. That's how you know that you've got one. You're here for a reason. And you know what? Even if somebody tries to tell you that you don't have a reason, you can be a reason. You can say, you know what? I am here. And this is how I choose to take my life. I'm going to do it with a purpose. So find that purpose. The next one, your body. Nobody else has your body. You don't have anybody else's body. Your body is the only body you are ever going to have. So start off by saying, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect, but this is what I've got. Again, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to shine it up. I'm going to polish it off, and I'm going to rock it. So along with that, the next phase of that is taking it and making it the best that it can be. My first act of Bad Threads living for my apartment was I got out of bed and I went and I cleaned up my bathroom. I got it from the sink to the toilet to the tub, shined it all off, organized my stuff. It's my bathroom. It might be a little crappy bathroom in a little crappy apartment, but it's my bathroom. And so I'm going to make the most of it. It's weird making an analogy between a bathroom and your body. However, that's my point. It's your body. You might feel like it's worthless. You might be ashamed of it. Don't be. It's the only one you're ever going to have. So take it. Make the most of it. I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do to make your life or to make your body better. Things that you can do right now to take care of it and say, this is mine and this is what I'm going to do to pay honor and celebration to the fact that this is what I've got. Number 1, stop overeating. Number 2, eat healthy. Number 3, put in a little exercise. If you do those 3 things, you will transform your body. It will happen. It'll stop going from, oh, I want to look at that person and say, oh, I wish that I could be like that, to saying, you know what? This is what I'm doing. These are the steps I'm taking so that I can be that for myself. Because that's the only thing that you can do. You can only be the best version of you. It doesn't matter what anybody else looks like. That's their life. Relationships. So the areas of relationships that we've got that are only yours. This is your life. Come to terms with the fact that there might be people in it that aren't ideal. They aren't perfect, but they are the only ones there in your life. These relationships include family, spouse, co-workers, friends, significant others. I think it includes your pets. Make the most of all of them. Treat them with respect and honor, and do unto them as you would want them to do to you, and watch what happens. It's going to start reciprocating. It says in the Bible, Jesus said, what honor or what reward is there in loving the people that are easy to love? Everybody does that. Try loving the people that you hate or the people that hate you. Try loving your enemies. When you can do that, when you love the people that don't love you back, that's when you're going to start to make a change in them. Continue to love them. Don't stop just because they're not doing it back to you. That's not the point. With consistency, you continue to love people that are unlovable, and I believe that the goodness in that rotten person will come out, and that person will start to treat you better back, because the goodness in them will say, dude, you can't be such a jerk to this person. They're being way too nice and loving to you. That's what's going to happen. So start doing that. The 4th one, your spiritual life. I think the last example of loving your enemies is a good way to kickstart your spiritual life. Spiritual life is basically, I think Jesus put it this way, making things on earth as they are in heaven. The kingdom of heaven comes to earth when we love the people around us. That's that's actually the way, the best way to love or to usher in the kingdom of heaven is love. Faith, hope, and love, the greatest of these is love. And 1 Corinthians 13 says that if you don't have love, you got nothing. So that means you can be doing everything right. You can be saying all the right things. You can be following the scriptures to the T, following the Bible or whatever you think is the way that is the most correct way to live your life. If you don't love, if you have not love, you have nothing. So I'm going to flip that around and I'm going to put it like this. We might not know everything about what spiritual life looks like and how to do it correctly. But what I can tell you is that if you are loving the people around you, if you're loving yourself, and if you're loving the good Lord, you are already doing it in God's eyes more correctly than the person that's just living correctly without love. So, love the people around you. Usher in the kingdom of heaven into earth. Start with that. I want to leave you with this quote. The possible only becomes possible the moment you believe that it is. You might not believe that you have the best life or the best anything right now. You might not feel good about yourself right now. But if you don't believe that it can get any better, if you don't believe that there's anything of value in your life, then there won't ever be anything of value in your life. The moment that you start to embrace the true nature and say, all right, here's my blessings. Here's the things that I'm going to be grateful for. Here's the things that I can say, this is why things are good for me or why I'm going to be content. You're ushering in something that before you thought was impossible, it's now becoming possible. You're shifting a focus from the negative to the positive. And when you're in a negative state, you don't ever realize that it can get positive. Sometimes you need to push yourself into it. So push yourself into it. Step into the positive realm. Start looking at things as blessings in your life. Look at them with gratitude and start loving the people around you. Watch it make a difference. All right, you guys, that's all I got for today. I'll post that writing up with it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Love you guys. I will see you next time.